Indoor cycling, Zwift, racing, parenting. We cover those and all of our hopes and dreams in between. Welcome to the Talk Dirty to Me podcast, an entertaining look into the lives of everyday people trying to achieve virtual cycling glory from our basements and garages from around the world. This podcast is rooted in Zwift and has evolved into found friendships, fitness, health, and a little sprinkle of humor. This may be one of the only podcasts where a little heavy breathing shouldn't scare you away, because we're riding our bikes while we're recording it.
Welcome back, everybody. We may notice our trusty companion Drew is not here, and that's because his computer decided to hate him today, and he may pop in, but we'll see, hopefully. But we do have Jeff Hinds. Jeff, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Jeff,
recovering from a couple of things, but otherwise fine.
A couple of small things, I'm sure. Jeff was gracious enough to join us today to talk about something cool, i.e. the Kona IronMan that he participated in. Was it last month? Month before?
It's this month. It was on the 8th of October.
Oh, see?
So it feels like it was a month ago, yeah.
I'm already on to November, obviously.
Yeah, I'm closer to my next Ironman already than that one, so it feels like it was a long time ago.
And again, you know, I mentioned these things, and I'm like, how I know that Jeff is in a different league than me, he just mentioned he's closer to his next Ironman, as opposed to an Ironman.
It's worked out that way.
Yeah. Jeff, how are you, man?
Good. Couple of things after Kona. I came back with COVID, so I'm still a little bit down on that, but that's cleared, and I should be bouncing back pretty soon. Had a bike crash over the weekend, so recovering from that too. But hey, I did Kona. I'm not complaining. That was fun. Never in my life did I think I'd make it, but somehow I made it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because I think when it comes to people's accents, for one, yours is unique.
Yep.
And just how you came to dirt.
Yeah, so I'm actually from South Africa originally. Moved to Canada in 2016. So I've been here 6 years. So I'm dual citizen right now, as of December last year.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thanks. And, in Canada, you have to ride indoors. You can't ride. I come from riding outdoors the whole year. So this indoor riding, back in the day when I first started doing cycling and Ironman and stuff, I used to use the dome trainer. That was long before Zwift. But I got here and I'm like, okay, so how am I going to train? So I got into getting an indoor trainer, found Zwift, all this kind of stuff like everybody else. That was in 2018, and got a bike, got a Wahoo kicker, and kind of started riding on Zwift and started joining group rides. And like probably everybody else, discovered about 50% of the group rides were dirt rides. I'm like, what is this dirt stuff? Like everybody else would say, I'm not a mountain biker, I don't ride on dirt. But anyway, let me check it out. And then I figured out, that's what it is. Okay, cool. And then I started riding the same rides every week. And again, like most people, Stoney contacted me and said, hey, you want to come race with us? I think he contacted me on a Thursday. I think it was about 9 a.m. And he said, we do these team time trials. And I said, what's a team time trial? And I think people who know me know the rest of the story. But that evening, I did my first ride for my first dirt as a part of dirt for the Rascals team. Like that evening, and then I was hooked basically. And I mean, at that point, I was doing the XLR on Sunday. But I think there were a couple of group rides back there, not like now. And of course, the rest is history. So now I've done hundreds of TTTs, and I now wear the dirt kit in the game when I do my races, all that kind of stuff. So, yep.
And now, for a while, if I remember correctly, you were doing like multiple TTTs a day for what seemed like months, right?
Yeah, I'd say probably mostly during the pandemic, I was doing at least 2 a day. I did 3 a day for quite a few months, like every Thursday, doing 3 of them. Don't know how I did that because now, that would be stupid. I don't know how I would do that. But the most I've done in one day, I think there was a Canada Day a couple of years ago. I did 6. Of course, now other people have laugh at that. They're like, only 6. But for me, that was at the time. I don't think anybody was doing more than 2. So,
how many did Thiago do? That one day he decided
I think it was 11.
Was it 11?
Thiago did 11 or 12.
Yeah,
No, except 11.
Not all of those being like full speed, obviously.
No.
Well,
So the same for me.
Thiago.
I chose teams that day that were manageable. Let's say, it wasn't full racing the whole time.
Sure.
But
You gotta pace
I
yourself.
try and. I think I've done the most TTTs. A couple of guys are probably pretty close to catching me, but I generally try to at least once a week. I know that sounds silly. Over the summer I've been doing all these Ironman races and stuff, so I've been a bit out of it. But when possible, I try to do at least one a week, and most people only do one a week. So, yeah.
I could say recently, Greg and myself have dabbled in the double, we like to call it.
Yeah, the back-to-back.
The back-to-back.
Oh, yeah.
Those are much more difficult than
That's
just
the
doing
5
one.
a.m. and 6 a.m. one Eastern time, I think.
Yeah. For me, it's 4 and 5, but yeah.
Yeah, for me, when I did the double, it was mostly morning and evening. So 5:15 and 9:30 in the evening. And you know what? It's damn good training to ride twice a day like that. So
Yeah.
I kind of credit the TTT for my fitness.
It is pretty effective when it comes to, because, to me anyway, you seem like you push harder for other people, at least I do, than you would for yourself necessarily.
Yeah, this is why I do them. I don't do workouts. I don't even know if erg mode works on my bike. I never use it because I hate it. So for me, that was the perfect training for the stuff I do is TTT, because it's intervals, unders, overs, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just the right length, like 40, 50 minutes. And then combine that with a lot of zone 2 riding, like we're doing now. And that's how I train. Like, what's the secret? If anybody asks me, well, that's how I train for the bike. So, like, literally for Ironman, that's all I do.
How many days do you do like hard effort? So like Thursday, obviously.
Once a week, yeah.
Just
Generally
once
a week. Just
And the
one
rest
day,
of the time you're in zone 2?
Pretty much, yeah. Group rides. Now, it's a bit different in the summer because I'm riding outside and I have this problem of I have this, say, not bipolar, that's probably a bad thing to say, but indoors I like riding with people like this and riding in a group and that kind of thing. Outdoors, I like riding solo and doing my own thing. So when I ride outside, I ride hard. I'd struggle to do like 3 hours of zone 2 outside. I don't know, push a little harder when I'm riding outside. That's why Zwift is better for that kind of training.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, over the winter and that sort of thing, like now, once a week. I'm going to dabble in the ZRL again this year. So I'll probably just do the one TTT plus ZRL. See how that goes. More for fun than anything else, actually.
The Tuesday-Thursday split's pretty good. I think many of us have been on that for a while.
Yeah, I see. For me, it's the Tuesday-Thursday split, or maybe doing the double on Thursday, plus a lot of running, plus a lot of swimming.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say,
all
because
adds
you're not just riding.
Yeah,
the
that was
problem is
actually
running kind of affects the bike. So
yeah. I was curious on the days, on like the Thursdays where you're doing one or more than one TTT. Are you doing bricks on those days also? Like finishing on the bike, hopping off and running or something?
No, not
Or is that a
normally.
bike only
Unless
day?
I do this thing where I do like a daily run to build my base. I'm going to start one of those next month, 15th of November, where I run. Last year was 5K every day. I did it for 3 months. This year I'm just doing it for 1 month. In that case, then if I'm doing a TTT, then I'll hop off and run on the treadmill. Yeah, but for a good while I was doing. You guys know about the duathlon series.
Yeah,
We do that would be on Wednesday. So Wednesday would be 35, hammer the bike, 15-minute run, and then Thursday the TTT. Also found if I I was finding if I do like running on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then by Thursday, it just affected my TTT. So I basically switched to running only over the weekend. And then this is like later last year, I pretty much stopped running because it was like constantly sore on the bike. But I can't do that again. It's too many. You got to keep running, keep getting injuries.
Yeah.
So my claim is I do pretty well with very little training compared to some people who are training for Ironman.
And I would say probably your very little training is probably built on a base of a lot of training.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Maybe it just doesn't feel like training to you.
Yeah, I'm obviously training a lot more than I used to when I did Ironman. I didn't know what I was doing back then when I started like 10 years ago. And, I did a few Ironmans back then. Took a few years off, came back into when I started Zwifting here in Canada. Kind of like rediscovered Ironman. Got a tri-bike, kind of kicked it back into action. Said, let's get this going again, just because I enjoyed it. It's a bit of a long story, which I won't go into, but had a kind of a rough go the first time around and just quit doing Ironman. Like a bit of a mental breakdown. My last race in my first round, I had a issue with my bike. I had a hole in my tire or something like that. So I had 4 or 5 punctures in Ironman. I got tired of it. Wasn't enjoying it anymore. So I quit and focused on moving to Canada, and then forgot about it for a number of years, and now I started up again. Now I'm on several missions with Ironman. One of them was one day to get to Kona, and I basically started and said, I want to get to Kona someday, and they've got this legacy program. The legacy program, you have to do 12 Ironmans, and after 12 Ironmans, you can kind of enter. So they kind of reward loyalty, if you want, or consistency. Sure. They say, do your 12 Ironmans, you go into like the legacy draw, and you've got a good chance of getting a Kona slot that way. And I was like, okay, I've done 6 Ironmans. I do 3 in 2022. I do 3 in 2023. That takes me to 12. And then, then I'll do the legacy. Of course, life happens when you start making plans. And the first Ironman I did this year was in Tulsa back in May. And I thought in the back of my mind, I'm like, one day I'm going to race these races to try to get into Kona. But I haven't done enough training. And I discovered that Andy's from my TTT team, Andy Holland. He was also racing. And he was like training hard to get to Kona. And I saw what he was posting on Strava. I was like, okay, I can't do that much training. He's going to make it for sure. And anyway, we get to the race, and I just did my own thing. I went in pretty light on training, which I seem to always do. But anyway, so I go in, we do the race, and we end up finishing right next to each other, like within 2 minutes of each other. So I was like, oh, and I think we were about 11 hours, and he was like, there's no way we'll get a Kona slot. And I'm like, yeah, it's a long shot. Because we were 13th and 14th in the age group. I think we're this year in the same age group. Next year, not. He's a little older now. So we go to the roll down on Monday, and they go through the awards, they get to the roll down, and I'm like, I've never been to a Kona roll down. Because I was always like 13-hour Ironman, Then I got to like 12:30, and I think, well, it's a bit different nowadays, but you would never get a Kona slot on 12.5 hours, in an Ironman. You usually have to be like 10 or sub 10. So we go to the roll down, and we weren't really close, but a few people didn't take their slots. Well, I think the first 4 took their slots, but other age groups rolling down into the 15s, 20s, and I was like, I'm actually not that far away from this thing, so maybe I should try and put some effort in here. And maybe next time I'll get it. And then I forgot about it. And then I got home, and my next race was Muskoka 70.3. That's a local 70.3. It's a 2-hour drive from here. And I was training for that. And I said, you know what? I'm doing the training. I just did an Ironman. Let me enter Mont Tremblant, which is like a famous Ironman in Canada here. Because part of what I'm doing as well is I want to do every North American Ironman at least once. So that's my long-term goal. So like Wisconsin, California, Chattanooga, yada, yada, all of them eventually. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do Mont Tremblant someday. And I may as well do it this year. So I signed up for it. It was like a month away. And kind of refocused my training a little bit after Muskoka, did some longer sessions. Started studying the age group, who's entered, what were the previous results, what do I need. Kind of planned and calculated everything out. Came to the conclusion, if I can get into the top 10 for my age group, I've got a good shot. Because there's 40 to 44. So that's the biggest group, which means the most slots, but it's also one of the fastest. So the top 3 guys are like way gone. They're like 9 hours, 10, 9:20, whatever. So I was like, maybe I'll grab the 5th slot, or the 4th slot. So I figured, okay, top 10 will do it. And top 10 will give me a chance. And kind of raced that thing with a strategy of getting to Kona. And in the end, I finished 7th in my age group. And I was like, okay, I'm in with the running. Go on the app after the race, look at the slots. There were 8 slots.
Nice.
So then I was like, oh, that's cool. 8 slots. That means I don't even have to think about it. But then I did start thinking about it, and I was like, kind of caught by surprise. I'm like, oh, it's only a month away. What am I going to do? So I hopped on our famous Tri channel on the Eat Dirt server. Asked a few guys. Ben, anybody knows Ben? He's like Mr. Kona. Came back and he said, I was like, back and forth with him. He's like, just take the damn slot. And it's like the title of the book. Should I go to Kona? Just take the damn slot.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
So leading up to it, is this the first time you've been to Hawaii, or have you been to Hawaii before?
So I've never been to Hawaii, so that was fun. But I have watched Kona on live stream and online or whatever, probably for the last 5 years, every year, without missing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I heard about the Queen K, Hawaii High and Harvey and all these things and all this stuff about the race, like these mythical things. And then next thing you know, I was driving in the car and, hey, we're on Polani Drive. I heard about this place. It's actually pretty cool, So there was obviously the experience of going to Hawaii for the first time, which is freaking far from everything. It's so far away. It's insane.
Yeah, especially, you're coming from East Coast of Canada, right?
Yep. And because I was like a month out, my biggest worry was accommodation, flights, all the logistics around it. Because, I always thought if I go to Kona, I'm going to need, at least $10,000 just for that stuff. And need to arrive 2 weeks early to acclimatize and the time zones and all that stuff. And looking back now, all that stuff I worried about, it's nothing. Doesn't matter. You don't need that much. You don't need to go that early. You can do it on much less money. It's really not as bad as I thought. But it is a long freaking way to fly. So in my case, I jumped online and I'm like, let me check out the flights. Accommodation's another story. I was like, let me look at the flights. And when I started looking from Toronto, cheapest flight was, I think, $19.80. So almost $2,000.
Is that Canadian dollars or?
Yeah, Canadian.
Okay.
And it was
$1,500. That's great.
It was something like that, yeah. I think it was Canadian. And it was 2 stops, 2 airlines, stopping in Honolulu. And I was like, let me see if there's something better. And then I looked, I checked what are the options from Detroit. From Detroit, it was like $1,200, 1 stop, much shorter flights. So I drove to Detroit and flew from there. And I'm like, this is the cool thing about living in North America. You can do crazy stuff like this. Because where I used to live, where I grew up, there was like one airport, and it's always an 11-hour flight to get anywhere. So that was nice, yeah. So in the end, it worked out pretty well. I got a good flight. my accommodation, I stayed with people that live on the island. So I found that via Facebook, because hotels are, even now, if you look for next year, it's like $700 a night.
Sure.
Cheapest. So
People
that
for
worked
some
out pretty
reason
well.
want to go to Hawaii. I don't know why, right?
Yeah.
All the
It's not like
time.
it's
Well-
beautiful or anything.
During Kona, it's worse. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
during Ironman, I mean. Yeah.
Now, specific to Hawaii, I have two questions. Did you eat Spam and did you eat poi?
No, and no.
No and no? All right.
I wouldn't.
First,
during, not
he
during
was-
the
he
race
wasn't
week,
there.
no.
You have to
He
go back
wasn't,
to
he
Hawaii
wasn't
and
there
eat
for
both
the
of those
experience,
things.
Todd.
Spam is everywhere in Hawaii.
I know.
They serve Spam at McDonald's in
I
Hawaii.
think I saw it on some of the like Ironman vlogs. People were doing that, but I didn't get there. No,
Have you ever had Spam before?
no, it's like a canned
A canned
meat, right?
ham product? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's
call
like,
it ham specifically. But
No, it's like canned bologna.
yeah, kind of. It's like a large Vienna
you
sausage,
can-
right?
Yeah. You could turn a Vienna
Right.
sausage into a brick.
doesn't sound
It's
appetizing. to me
saltier
either.
than bologna.
Sure.
You pair that with eggs and wrap some nori, like sushi wrap around it.
That's the one. Yeah, I saw people doing that on the videos because, like, before the race, I was watching all these vlogs and seeing what people were doing, and I saw people do that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Apparently
big
it's good.
thing in Hawaii.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
When
Next
I say
time.
next time, I'm hoping next year. I've got to try and qualify again.
Listen, if ever there was need to have like convincing of wives to like meet up for something, and Hawaii is the way to go. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like, honey, we're having a meetup in Hawaii. When?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm telling
How did
everybody
you
now.
decide
Next
that was the
next
best
year
place?
we're going to Hawaii next year, so start planning. You know, come watch or
That's
come
right.
stay, come visit, whatever. And
So I had
hopefully
a,
we'll get some dirt guys there as well. We had Adam
Yeah.
this year, but we'll see next year.
Yeah, we were hoping to have Adam on today, but I guess Wednesdays don't really work out for him, unfortunately, due to his schedule.
Yeah, so did you? Well, I was going to ask, did you see Adam while you were there?
So my story with Adam's a little interesting. We both live in Oakville, Ontario. We didn't
wow.
realize it till recently.
I didn't know that.
And we've kind of been following each other without even trying in all these races. So half marathons. So he always show up and I was like, hey, I didn't know you were here. So he beats me, then I beat him, then he beats me, then I beat him. We're kind of even. We've done about 6 races where we showed up together. And he ended up going to Mont Tremblant. And I saw him at Mont Tremblant on the bike and on the run multiple times. We ran together a little bit. In Kona, I didn't see him in around Kona because that place is a circus. Unless you like arrange to meet someone, you're not going to see them. But in the race, I saw him on the bike. I came up to him. I came past him. Because this is how we roll. He swims a little faster than me. I bike a little faster than him. And the run, he's a better runner than me, but we kind of trade places with running. So I came past him on the bike, and then I saw him on the run again. A month before that was the Barrel Man, which is like a 70.3 at Niagara Falls. And he had a great race. Like I went past him on the bike again, but on the run, he just blasted past me like it was nothing. And I was struggling that day. And then in Kona, it's the other way around. He was struggling that day. I think he got COVID like 2 weeks before Kona or something. So, you know, but yeah, we're all the way in Hawaii. We're racing together and we come from pretty much the same neighborhood. Pretty funny. He's such a cool guy though.
Yeah.
So let me think here. I had an attending in training that did Kona a couple of times. I'm sure it's probably the same, like Legacy, what you're talking about, because he'd done a ton of Ironmans.
So Legacy, you can only get it once. You actually,
really?
if he's done a couple of times, he would have qualified. Yeah.
Huh.
Once you've got the Legacy, you go once and that's it. Then you have to qualify again.
I just remember, like, he was like stick thin,
Yeah.
just
How old
super
was he?
thin. Oh, he was probably late 40s, early 50s at that point.
Yeah. So the older age groups, it's probably, I don't want to say easier, but more likely that somebody qualified. The young guys, it's really tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what I'm saying is, if you said he's 25, then I'm like, yeah, he's pretty much semi-pro in his
Right.
speed that he's going. Yeah.
Right.
Whereas normal people like me can qualify when you're get on in the years.
Yeah, Greg, he's normal.
Uh-huh.
We're screwed, buddy.
I know.
I everybody asks me this. I'm like, I have no athletic ability. I just train and race smart, not hard.
I think that in and of itself can be an athletic ability.
True.
Because you have to have the mindset, I think. Because, some people that just go out and smash it, and they're racing smart.
Yeah, honestly, the longer the race for me, the better. Like Ironman, I love doing Ironmans. I don't really like 70.3. They're okay. But anything short to like sprint triathlons, I hate them. Because I'm opposite. I don't like smashing it. I like the mental aspect of it. Like the grind of doing an Ironman. I love it.
You just like to pace yourself and hold it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and manage. It's like a management exercise. You've got to manage your pace. You've got to manage your nutrition. You have to focus on not burning your matches and stuff like that. So you'll see if you track me doing an Ironman in the run and watch closely. We had another guy that Max did a Ironman California on Sunday. He did the same thing. Smooth pacing on the run. You just evenly burn whatever you have. To me, that's like the best.
What do you do in your day life? Does it involve spreadsheets and management of numbers? What do you do for your day job?
A little bit, but I'm called a technical solutions architect, so I do sales for Cisco. Do like network performance.
I was going to ask.
But not
Cisco the networking stuff or Cisco the food supply company?
The food, yeah.
The networking stuff, yeah. I was in a small company that was acquired by Cisco. So originally a startup, now part of the big gorilla, Cisco Networks. And I guess I do use spreadsheets. But it's not the only thing I do.
Just, it's that analytical mind that we all have.
Yeah.
Where you give us numbers, we'll track them.
Also, little things. So how can I improve this little thing? And how can I get the most bang for buck out of my training?
Yeah.
Not just do more. Yes, you have to do volume, but when I do a training session, I go for a run, I'm always like monitoring my heart rate or power or all that kind of stuff.
Like, is this productive or am I just doing this to do it?
Pretty much,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I try and avoid the junk miles. I do sometimes end up doing junk miles like everybody else, but.
So here's the cyclist's question. Do you enjoy swimming already? Like, did you like swimming before you started doing triathlons?
No, to be honest with you, I hated swimming till about 3 months ago. Now I love swimming. I just...
what was the change?
What changed?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't swim much during the pandemic. So last year, I actually entered Ironman Florida, and I was thinking about it yesterday. Like, why didn't I do it? Could have been the travel, but I think it was because I wasn't swimming, and I'm not the best swimmer. So since then, I've been doing a lot of swimming, focused training, like getting better at swimming. This is kind of my weakness, and I'm still not fast, but I got to the point with my training where it's easy now. Like, even though my time is a little faster than it used to be, but when I get out of the water, I'm not like broken. I'm actually pretty fresh. And that then means I was doing a lot more swimming over the summer, a lot more open water swimming. This year I swam in Mexico, all the Ironmans I've done, obviously Kona. And when you get to a point where swimming isn't hard, it's really nice to do open water swimming. When you get a nice lake to swim in, or the ocean, you forget that it's hard. Like, you don't struggle. You just kind of enjoy it. And I like that part about swimming. I guess there's also the continual technical challenge of swimming. But that to me is, I don't know if I enjoy that. But I like that I've made progress in swimming, so now I actually enjoy it. But yes, the thing that I hate about swimming in a triathlon is because I'm not a good swimmer, generally in the past, I would come out of the water and see no bikes. Just see my little bike standing there. But I look at it differently now. So if that happens now, it's like, firstly, I have this weird thing of, I've done, 30 triathlons, and I often can't find my bike. Come out the water and I'm like, why am I in the wrong row? We practiced this. But anyway, so now it's easier to find your bike when the rest have gone. So I got to a point now. I've gotten better at this stuff. So the last few races, I've got out the water and my bike gets there, and there's still some other bikes. And then we get back to Kona. We'll go to Kona, and it's kind of back to how it was in the past. So to give you an idea, my typical Ironman race that I do now, I'm finishing, say, the top 10 in my age group. In Kona, I was 495th or something.
Oh, geez.
So I got out the water, and I didn't have a good swim, but it was okay. It was okay. Could have been better. I got out the water, and I'm like, where's all the bikes? I'm like, okay, this is like it used to be. But yeah, I'm not a good swimmer. So yeah, to answer the question, it's a love-hate thing with swimming. If you keep doing it and you get better at it, it's not too bad. I actually still enjoying it.
I feel like you don't have to be good at swimming in order to enjoy swimming. And I feel that's what I've heard is the people that hate it are the ones that come out smashed because they spend a lot of energy thinking about not dying and stuff. And it wears you out faster.
Yeah, I specifically remember with Mont Tremblant now, it's 3,800 meters or what is it, 2.4 miles? It's a freaking long way to swim. No matter how many times you do it, it still feels like you're swimming for a week when you're doing it.
Yeah, 2 miles. That's a lot.
It feels ridiculous, no matter how good or how fast you are. But Mont Tremblant, I got to the end and I was like, it's done already? That's how good the swim went. And I swam a good time. I felt easy, got on the bike, and I was hammering it, which I paid for later, but that's another story.
All right, I have to ask this. Because like some guys, they get off doing the big races like that. They're just like, I don't want to look at food. I don't want to see anything. Are you one of those guys, or are you like, no, give me all the food?
You mean like after an Ironman? Yeah, I don't eat afterwards. I probably don't eat for about 2 hours after the race. Just don't feel like it. You had so much, because I hit the Red Bull pretty hard in the Ironman run. Yeah. So after a while, my body's like, stop this nonsense. Stop it. Whoa, that's enough Gatorade. That's enough Red Bull. Just chill. Which is weird because normally when I'm not racing, I eat a lot. I eat more than most people I know. I'm eating all the time. Like I don't put my webcam on during my work meetings because I'm always eating. Yeah, because I'm always burning, so I'm always eating, except in a race. Weird.
So then, when you finally feel like eating after an Ironman, what's your go-to meal?
So I do this thing. I've started doing this thing of getting I get a Hawaiian pizza. So, the pineapple and
Canadian bacon.
Not strictly, but yeah.
Pineapple on pizza.
Pretty much, yeah. So I do that on Saturday night before the race, and I typically eat half on Saturday, half on Sunday. So I heat up the second half of the pizza. It's kind of my thing. So we go to Hawaii, and I stayed with these people, and I'm like, it was kind of a running joke of, I don't know how many times I made this joke. I was like, well, any pizza's good. We're in Hawaii. So, because it's Hawaiian pizza. No, but in the end, we made a pizza. But I realized with Ironman people, it's actually a pretty common thing. So it's freaking difficult to get a pizza the night before an Ironman. It's quite a challenge. But yeah, that's what I do. So I'll probably finish off the pizza when I get home, and typically like a chocolate shake or something like that. So one thing I would change about Ironman, when you're done with the race, do you know what they offer you? When you finish the race, you cross the line, you hit like an aid station, I know, because I volunteered at Kona at that aid station. Coke, Gatorade, Red Bull, water. It's like, come on, guys, where's the chocolate milk? Everybody knows chocolate milk is the right thing to have after a race. Nothing. There's no protein anywhere. I live off protein, and there's nothing.
It's a shame.
But yeah. I didn't even look at the food after Kona. I don't even know what they gave. Adam might be able to tell you. He went there, I think. I skipped.
But Adam is vegan, though, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's vegan.
I don't know what I think I saw people eating like wraps and stuff. I just couldn't look at it. I was like,
That's funny because pineapple on pizza is such a polarizing topic.
Oh, yeah.
But I too am a fan of pineapple on pizza. I choose sausage as my meat of choice.
With pineapple?
Yeah. I used to do chicken, but who put chicken on pizza?
Pineapple. No, I like chicken and pineapple, like a barbecue chicken plus pineapple. That's always
Yeah, that
but yeah,
works.
pineapple's got to be there. So I think I'm going to stick to this Ironman thing of finding a pizza the night before. So
It seems like it's
night
working.
before Ironman. Yeah, it's working okay.
When you were telling that story, I was imagining some movie about how Iron Man is like the Black Friday of Hawaiian pizza joints. They're like, oh God, they're coming.
They're preparing all year.
Yeah,
They bust out all the pineapples.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was at Tulsa, I did the same thing. I was like looking for a place, and I think I went to a Domino's because there was Domino's where I was close to staying, and they said it's a 2-hour wait.
Oh,
And I ended up like driving around a bit, and there's a lot of stressful things about Ironman and things that make you nervous and stuff that you have to do. So you have to try and eat as early as you can on a Saturday before the Sunday race. I normally eat late at night, like 8, 9 o'clock. So that's what I'm used to. Now you've got to try and find something to eat at 5 o'clock. So it was getting on till like 7, and I'm like, oh no, I need to have dinner because I've got to get through the system before the race the next day. So in the end, I had a little Caesar's pizza at Tulsa, which is like bottom of the barrel, but it worked.
That's Jesse Keith's favorite pizza. Just
It
so you
is.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked. It was fun. Did the job.
Jeff, the next time you do an Ironman, let me know because I love to eat at 5 o'clock. That's my time of choice. So
Wow. Yeah, I'll let you know. At some point, I'll do an Ironman close to everybody, and as soon as I get there, like now I'm going to Florida, I kind of reach out to everybody in Florida and say, come out, let's meet up.
I don't even know if I don't even know where there is one in Missouri. I don't think there is.
What, an Ironman?
What?
Yeah. St. Louis doesn't
I don't
have
know
one.
the area too well.
No, they don't.
That would be my
How far
guess
is-
as to.
Maybe Chattanooga. How far is that?
Yeah, Chattanooga's probably 5-6 hours.
Yeah, that's close.
Close.
Yeah. Because most of the folks in Florida that I reached out to, yeah, that's a 6-hour drive. I'm like, oh, okay, they're not going to make it.
It must be the closest one because like Kelso is a couple hours from me south, and I think that's the closest one to him too.
He's
Yeah, that sounds
signed up for Tulsa. He's doing Tulsa next year.
Oh,
You should get
Tulsa's
him
got to
back
be
on.
closer for him.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
you're
should
right.
get him back on. Let him tell us about Tulsa.
He's part of this podcast, whether he wants to believe it or not. He's on the cast chat.
He's been
like
on sabbatical for 8
a
months.
year. Yeah.
Hey, I've listened to every single one, so I know.
Well, thank you for your your allegiance.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
you're the first person. If we have more people listen than they do watch, I don't probably because they don't want to see us. But if you aren't watching, Jeff has a wonderful background. He is actually riding in Hawaii right now.
Yeah,
So
I woke up early for this.
he flew there last night.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing. It's a weird time difference because it's 6 hours. 6 hours behind. So you like
Yeah.
contact family and friends back home and everybody's sleeping. It's like, what? Oh, yeah. Okay, 6 hours. I forgot about this.
Right.
Because when I originally moved to Canada, my family was still back in South Africa, so I used to deal with it all the time. And I forgot about that, till I was in Hawaii. Because I've never gone that far west. I've been east before. A little bit east and a little bit west, but not that far west. It was very weird. All fun,
So-
all part of the experience.
Did you have time to do anything outside of Ironman stuff? Or I know you said you were there for like 6 days.
Not really, because it's kind of a weird schedule. Because there's 2 races now in Kona. There's a race on Thursday and a race on Saturday. You have to do your check-in on like the Tuesday. Normally, I only show up on the Thursday for an Ironman. In this case, I showed up on the Monday late in the evening. Tuesday, went and did my check-in, expo, all that stuff, and then they start closing stuff. So like Thursday, it's a race day. So you're either going to watch the race or you're going to volunteer, which is what I did. And then Friday is the bike check, and then Saturday is the race. So basically that gives you Tuesday and Wednesday to do a practice swim, which I did as many practice swims as I could. I think I did 3. And then practice ride on the bike. So in between these things and, moving around and stuff, there isn't a lot of time. So I didn't get to do much. We were going to, they did, the people I stayed with were going to do like a tour on the Sunday, but that never really panned out. And I'm pretty glad because I was kind of tired.
Yeah. And then you flew back
next
Monday?
time. Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got home at like 1 a.m. or something, and then back at work the next morning. And guess what? I'm doing that next week again. So
Another one?
because I minimize my leave, so my days off, I like take the absolute minimum because I know I've got 4 Ironmans a year plus all this other stuff. So I have to be pretty judicious about my days off.
Sure.
So that's why I didn't stay too long in Hawaii. And of course, the longer you stay in Hawaii, the more it costs. So this was kind of a recon trip to figure it out, also because it was last minute. But next time, I think I'll stay maybe 10 days or something. Just got to figure out the training on the island, that kind of thing.
I think 12 days is like the perfect number for days in Hawaii. So you have 2 travel days. You're off 2 weeks the whole time. So you travel one day back, 12 days there. It's the way to do it.
So this was first time just focusing on Ironman, focusing on Kona, not so much the vacation side of it. Hawaii.
Sure, yeah. It's just such an amazing place.
Oh yeah, it's so weird because message people back home like this place is so weird because it feels like just any other U.S. state that you're in. Everything's there. I'm like, I could live here. There's no, this doesn't feel like a remote island in the middle of freaking nowhere. You look on the map, where am I? And you see, I'm like a little dot in the ocean. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's cars there and there's, the usual stores and you could pretty much live there and you wouldn't know the difference, Yep.
It's
awesome. And
until
the
it
weather's
came
kind of
time
weird
to fly off the island.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Or you want to get something with Amazon, it's like, this ain't coming tomorrow. But I found the weather was weird too. It's kind of like I'm sure like the Big Island is basically peak. So the higher up you go, the weirder the weather gets. Down, and everybody's like, it's super hot, and you're going to be cooking the whole time, and scare the hell out of you with the heat thing. So I did a ton of heat training. So probably too much. I'm like way heat adapted now. For me, it didn't feel hot at all because I'm just used to it by now. And I did all the precautions, took all the water and ice and everything. So I didn't find it hot at all. But I know it's like 100 degrees, or 37 plus Celsius. Anyway, so you hear about all this and you think this place is like going to be like living on the sun. And then I stay in my accommodation and I come outside and it's raining and it's like, I don't know, 75, 23. And it's cool. And it's like kind of gloomy. And I said to these guys, what's going on here? Because I remember before I went, I looked at the weather forecast and it said it would be raining every day. And I'm like, I've been watching Kona for years. It's never rained. There's never even a thread of rain. What the heck is this? But the weather station was higher up, I guess. So it's very misleading.
It rains somewhere in Hawaii every day for like 30 minutes and then stops.
Yep. Yeah, it's light rain. There's parts of Hawaii that are always getting rain. Yeah. But down on the race course, no. There's no rain. There's no clouds, nothing. It's like a cauldron, basically.
But it's funny, too, because like you said, most of the islands, obviously they're volcanic islands, so they're peaks. So one side of the island is going to be super lush and green. The other side is going to be like desert almost.
Yeah. And now at the moment, there's a volcano that's actually kind of waking up Mauna Loa. So there's a chance of an eruption. They say it's still pretty low, but that's why, for a lot of reasons, I was like, I've got to do Kona before, who knows next year. Next year I might not be able to, or might be sick, might be busy, might not be in shape, whatever. So I said, I've got to do it while I can, while I'm able to. And I saw somebody say, you never know. Next year there could be an eruption and it could flow over the race course and then they'll have to move it. So that's kind of scary too. Apparently they only have like a few hours to get out of there. If something does happen. Yeah. Yeah. That's scary stuff. Yeah. But there was nothing while we were there. Like the day I got back, I think the next day there was an earthquake.
Yeah, like the experience of like seeing volcanoes and being around volcanoes is not something normally you're exposed to,
I wanted to, but apparently I asked about it. I was like, I want to see the lava flowing and what kind of thing. and they said, no, you actually have to go. You need like a special vehicle or something, and you have to go into the volcano. So it's a big deal, and it's not easy to arrange. I figured like I jump in my car, drive an hour, and I'll see it, but it's not quite that simple. So
You used to be able to do that back in the 90s.
Yeah.
My parents went when I was a kid, and they hopped all the ropes and got close to the flow, which is highly illegal and very dangerous. But
I was going to say, I wouldn't put that under used to be able to do if they broke all the rules to get there.
let me say it was easier to attain.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, because they
that
have
would be a good
like
story to tell.
lava tubes, which is basically the underground flow of liquid hot magma. That the crust can be very thin, and you fall through that, and you're dead.
Yeah, you don't see the lava, but you do see the volcanic rock freaking everywhere.
Did you look
in
at
Kona.
night though? You can see the top of the island. You can see the glow, the orange glow. If there's like clouds at the top, it's pretty neat.
I saw a little bit of that, but it feels like there was always clouds on top of the island, like thick clouds. I couldn't really see the peak,
Yeah,
so it was kind of weird.
and you kind of have to be in a place that doesn't have a whole lot of ambient light too, because ambient light will kill it.
And there's so many weird things about Hawaii, like how dark it is at night. The first night I got there, got out the car, and I'm like, man, I can't even see anything. There's no street lights. It's like it's like a cave. It's so weird.
It's
And, the sunset is awesome there as well.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
the astronomers of the world are very strong in the Hawaiian streetlight lobby. I had an astronomy professor in Arizona, which is also very big for astronomy because of clear skies at night. And he said, "Oh, Hawaii is like the Mecca. That's where we all go. There's no streetlights. It's in the middle of nothing, and most nights the skies are very clear. So they push very hard to have no light at night."
On the Thursday race, which was the ladies and some of the men's age groups, like the youngest and the oldest age groups, we were driving in to volunteer, and we were driving in the Queen K towards transition, and it was at sunset, and you could see people running, and the sun was going down, and I was like, that would be pretty awesome, coming back in and seeing the sunset.
Oh yeah.
But then I did some calculations, and I'm like, wait, that's a little bit later than I want to come in. So, but anyway, it turns out on Saturday it was overcast anyway. I wouldn't have seen the sun, so it's all fun.
Nah.
So I have this thing of trying to finish an Ironman before it gets dark. It's getting a bit tough now this time of year. So I'm going to have to really go fast next week. So
yeah, you said, what's your next one?
Florida, Panama City Beach, next Saturday.
PCB. All right.
PCB.
The Panhandle
PCB.
itself.
Yep.
PCB was
should be fun.
a very big senior trip destination for those of us here in Missouri.
So then,
Never been there. Part of my Ironman journey. Let's check it out. We'll see.
is that your last one for the year, or whether
Yeah,
swallow
so
the rest of
far
them?
that's the last one. There's a couple others, but they're all pretty close together. I think Chattanooga's, is it still coming? I'm not sure. And there's Wisconsin, I think. But yeah, for me, I decided already this year I was always going to finish in Florida. So the thing is, I signed up for Tulsa. Then I had Mont Tremblant, as I explained, but I always had Florida on the calendar because I signed up for Florida in 2020, deferred it with a pandemic. So it's now, I got to do it now. Can't defer it again. So I didn't know I was doing Kona. So in the end, ended up doing 4 this year with Florida. So I figured, okay, I can do 4. So I'm going to do 4 next year again, or at least 3. But next year I want to end the season at Kona. And if I don't get to Kona, then, because I'll know pretty early, then I'll probably sign up for one of the later ones, like maybe California, Maryland or something. Not Maryland, that's a little earlier. But so far I've only signed up for Lake Placid next year. And the plan is to do Texas as well. So if we keep doing this, you speak to me every year. It'll always be a different list of 3 or 4 Ironmans. And whatever ones I do, I've got to try to get to Kona. So...
Do you have a map that you're like crossing them off?
I should, yeah.
Yeah.
I should. I kind of go through the list and go, okay, I've done that one, done that one, done that one. You know, it's going to get, because I'm kind of doing the ones I want to do, So I don't know about Wisconsin, but I'm going to do it. But I always wanted to do Lake Placid. And I heard somewhere somebody said they're only going to have it 2 more years. So I'm like, okay, next year's the year, got to do it.
Yeah.
I've done Ironman Canada in Whistler. They've moved it now to Penticton, British Columbia. So that one I know I'll get to someday because I'm in Canada, so that's fine. But I'm probably going to do Woodlands, Texas, because I think there's 2 in Texas. So I'm going to do Woodlands, Texas next year. So Florida, Texas, Lake Placid. Those are my 3 goes at a Kona slot for next year. And if it all works out, next year will be Lake Placid, Texas, Kona, or something else. So probably do 3 next year. But I know how I am. I'll probably find another one to slip into the schedule.
Sure. Like with a month of leeway into it.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, there's one next month. I'll do it.
Yeah, I didn't qualify for Kona, so let's do 2 more. Yeah,
Right.
Just because. Take that same budget and spread it over 2 races, you know. Because one day I'll be able to say I've done all the races.
Wasn't someone trying to talk Drew into Lake Placid? Has he signed up for that?
Might
I want to say it was Sterney, wasn't it?
I try and get somebody from Dirt in every race. I've been doing so pretty well so far. Tulsa had Andy. Mont Tremblant had Adam. Kona had Adam. For Ironman Florida, there's a guy called Michael Pridemore. He's from the Rascals. He's going to be there. Lake Placid, I'm sure we'll find someone. I'm hoping to get Sterney to do Placid.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking. It was Sterney. He was trying to rope Drew into it.
Sounds right.
So I've actually done an Ironman with Sterney. It's a little known fact. I actually did Ironman New York. Ironman New York in 2012. We both did it.
It had to be a while ago because Sterney was doing tries many years ago.
Many years ago, yeah. That's 10 years ago.
Before Dirt. It was pre-Dirt
Yep.
Ironman.
I can say I didn't know him back then. We only learned this like recently, but I probably ran next to him for a while because our finish time was within about a minute or 2 of each other.
Nice.
Yeah. 13. I was like 13:03. He was like 13:02 or something. I don't know. We were very close to each other.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. It was like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And he's pretty young, so he was like 20 or something back then. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Actually, yeah.
But it's good because it means he's never going to be in my age group because then I can, you know how, if you get into this Kona qualifying thing, you always tell people, you like, oh, you want to do a race? Oh, you want to come race with me? Yeah. How old are you? If they're the same age group, then you tell them bad things about the race because you don't want them to do well. So people like, when I look at these other guys like Max and Sterney, I'm like, okay, they're 35 to 39 or 30 to 34. I'm safe. Don't take my slot. You know, I'm sure Adam feels the same way about me because we did Muskoka 70.3 and I finished 4th in the age group. He was 7th and I got a slot for the world champs in Finland next year. So I'm going to Finland and he didn't get a slot. So he said to me, so he made a joke. He was like, oh, so you stole a slot from me. Because I said, oh, you're going to go to Kona? And I saw him in Mont Tremblant. I said, you're going to go for Kona? He said, not if you steal my slot. So in the end, you know, I got the automatic slot. He finished 10th in the age group. And I messaged him and I'm like, where's this guy? Because it was at the roll down. And I'm like, I wonder if he's here. I spent like 30 minutes looking around. Where's Adam? Because he's always wearing a Dirt shirt. He's very like, he's on brand. So I'm like, where's this Dirt shirt? Couldn't see him. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to Kona alone. So they go through the thing, call my name. I woke up. And then I heard them say, because how it works is they call out the first place. You take the slot. You don't want the slot that goes to the second place and so on. It's the roll down. So they start going through the names. They were 8 slots. They got to number 8. 2 or 3 of the guys didn't take their slots. So they read out number 9. And I'm there and I'm like getting the credit card out and I hear Adam Upshaw. I'm like, oh, you know, I had that feeling of like, he had a chance. I'm going to have to go and tell him, Adam, you had a chance to get the slot, but you didn't take it. Next time and then before that thought was finished, tap on the shoulder and here he is, you know, with his lei on, because they give you this little like lei. So that was pretty cool. I saw him and I was like, oh, that made my day. That's cool. Yeah.
That the term for that is getting laid, just so you know.
I know, yeah. I know. So when we finished the race, the people I stayed with she ended up giving me 2 lays, so I actually gave him one. So you can make a joke about that.
We'll let the listener / viewer make a joke.
The listeners screaming at their earphones right now.
I'm waiting we'll see Keith Miller's response to it.
Yeah,
as he's listening to it on his drive to work. Yeah,
no tethers were involved in this one.
That's good.
Good to know.
I'm not interested in that. I'm not a tetherer.
You're not a bondage guy. I get it.
Not interested. No. I'll race with you, but we're not tethering. Too close for comfort.
Oh boy. Well, Jeff, thanks for joining us, man. That's a heck of a story. I mean, it boggles my mind. I think we take it for granted just how many people we know through all this that are just amazing athletes and have some really interesting stuff going on. So
yeah, for me, the main thing for me is like to, I guess, motivate, incentivize people to do a little more, maybe give running a try, swim a little bit, maybe get into triathlon. And you know what? It's kind of like catching on. We're seeing a lot more people and do it. Hey, maybe I can try this Ironman thing out. I mean, literally in the last few months, I've seen 5, 10 people just, I'm going to do an Ironman. And I love seeing that stuff because I know the benefits of it, and how fun it can be. People see it as hard. I don't see it as hard. I know it is hard if you don't train and you're not used to it and all that kind of stuff. But it's really rewarding because if you do get to a Kona, well, I guess I can talk another hour about Kona and all the cool stuff because they do everything properly. Like I was showing you, you get this towel. You don't get towels in any races for free. Well, you pay for everything, but you get all these little things in. You get all these little things in Kona, which are really cool. So, if you're into this stuff, but it's good to see a lot of people into it, picking up triathlon, and looking at something other than cycling because I mean we all love cycling and we do a lot of cycling. That's kind of a given. But if I see other folks trying to do an Ironman and hopping on the channel and listening to all this nonsense we talk about this stuff. And you've got Tiago, the super swimmer. You've got Craig. Craig's probably our fastest active triathlete at the moment. And we've got Ben, who's like the retired guy who could kick anybody's butt if he tried. And of course, the sneakiest of all is Sterney. That guy's fast. I don't know if you've seen how fast he does a sprint triathlon.
Yes.
So
yeah.
The tethering guys, Sterney, Craig, put them together. Right. They do all right. They just win the race, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. We have said they are well matched as a pair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's fun talking about this stuff. And if I can maybe just get one more person to get the ambition to go to Kona, my job's done.
There you go. We'll have to check back in after a couple more races too.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a normal person. I didn't do anything in any kind of this stuff in school or university or anything. I just kind of pretty much like everybody else, just I guess found the TTTs and that got me to a certain level of fitness. Really helped. So yeah, that's another day. We can talk about TTTs for hours too. Lots of stories there.
Oh yeah.
Tons of them, for sure. Well,
thanks. It was good to be on.
Yeah. Thanks again. We'll check in with you at some point, probably in the future. See what's going on. So,
sounds good.
Till next time. See you then.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See you everyone.